There's this topic that has been gnawing at me for some time now, and I've been pensive about it, especially for the past 2 to 3 weeks. It's just been so consistent on my mind, and I'm just like, I don't like having this conversation out loud because I feel like they're gonna get the wrong impression. You see, I'm gonna ask some questions when I don't understand something, and I'm gonna tell the truth about how I'm feeling about something, even if it's uncomfortable. So it's not that I talk a lot, it's just that I'm supposed to be quiet about certain things because shit, that's what everybody else is doing. You know, growing up, my mother always told me that my mouth is going to be the reason why I'm always in trouble. And I never understood why she would say that, because I'm capable of so much more than what my mouth does. But I've gotten to the point where I now understand that it's not the more or the less that I can do or that I'm capable of. It's the fact that I'm supposed to just be quiet, be polite, be pleasant. Do not push the envelope. Do not press buttons. Just be seen but not heard. And man, I think she viewed me as a rebellious child, because it's just like the more you say that to me, the more I realize that I'm gonna do exactly that though. I am going to push the envelope. I am gonna ask the questions that stirs up discomfort. I am going to be me. So I think out of all her kids, she couldn't stand me. Because based on my analysis of everything that I represent, I think she's both proud and ashamed of me in the same breath. I cannot tell if I'm flattered or offended. So, touche, mother. Touche. Anyway, before I went on that spiral, I'd like to talk about my faith. And it may not be big to y'all, but it's very big for me, because this is, again, not a topic that I discuss. But it has been heavy on my mind, and I'm just like, God, I can't talk about this because, you know, I'm a little bit unorthodox. And, you know, how dare I? I don't think I should talk about it, but no matter how much I try shaking it, it wouldn't go anywhere. So I guess we're gonna talk about it. Now, I don't know how lengthy I'm going to make this video, because sometimes, I promise, I just try to talk about one specific thing and I end up down a rabbit hole of sorts, and also multiple conversations. I think you might call that ADHD, but oh well. I like to veer off track, but not really off track, but kind of off track. So before I continue, I'd like to ask anyone who'd find themselves being offended to remove themselves. And it's not that I have anything quite crazy to say. Actually, this is a very toned version of me. I've been working on myself, truthfully. But I am still liable to say some things that you might not take in the best way. And it's not that I wouldn't want to apologize if I offend you. It's just that I've given you a chance to turn away from this conversation, but for some reason, you still decided to stick around. So at this point, you cannot say that I hurt your feelings, because I'm not even doing anything to hurt your feelings. I'm talking about something that's very personal to me. See, in the end, I cannot base my decisions off your action or your reaction or just anything about you. I need to live it on my terms because it's my life, you know, and in the end, I gotta be accountable for everything that I've taken part in, and I cannot go in front of the Most High and say, well, God, I acted like this because some people online were offended. So you choosing not to leave, you choosing to stay, you choosing to find something to be offended by when this is about me is hilarious, actually, because how do you make somebody else's life about you? But whatever, what do I know? So I guess it's fair to give you a bit of a background regarding who I am, a little backstory as to my process with faith, or my journey with faith. I think that's more fitting. Growing up, it wasn't mandatory for you to go to church. It also wasn't mandatory for you to go to school. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me just start off by saying we probably didn't grow up the same, but we probably did in some ways. In my household, church wasn't mandated, okay? If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. Stay home. And since it wasn't mandatory, then even if you do go, the kind of church that you choose to go to was up to you. So if you want to be at a Pentecostal this week, you want to be at an Adventist or a Baptist or one of those Jehovah's Witness places, it really didn't matter as long as at the forefront was God. So I guess if I'm supposed to choose a religion, I'd identify under Christianity. Final warning, I am not trying to piss you off. You may go, because the things that I'm going to say, I'm just reflecting my truth. My truth might have the ability to offend you. Not really sure why, but we live in a sensitive world. People are fickle, things can get finicky. So I guess I understand. I think for the most part, my mother was experimenting, trying to figure out what church she belonged to. So those people from the Jehovah's Witness places, they'll come and they'll try to have Bible studies. Now me personally, I used to try to run and hide, but sometimes they do catch me and I'm just like, okay, I'll listen. I'll entertain the thought. I'll entertain the conversations. Now don't get me wrong, I've learned things. I've learned things from all denominations. I hope that's the correct word. I really want to be respectful. But I guess I'll say for every place of worship that I attended, there was a takeaway. So throughout my life, I've always had the Most High. As I grew though, I had questions. And I won't act as if I read the Bible front to back. No, I didn't. I've tried to, but I came across questions. And then when I tried to get clarity on those questions that I stumble upon by reaching out to the people who consider themselves as believers of Christ and messengers of the Most High, and they're here to guide you and protect you and help you with your journey. All of that help was limited, because if you ask questions, then it's blasphemy, and I never understood that. And so I looked up what blasphemy meant at a very young age, and I was just like, but what I'm asking, it per this definition, it's not the same thing. But what I've found, and again, this is my opinion, my experience, what I have found is that these people who are supposed to educate me as I take this walk with the Most High, they put their personal feelings in it. They close their ears to what the question is. They shut you out. So it's not like they're even paying attention to what the question is. They're just so hell-bent on the fact that you should not ask a question that they don't even take the time out to analyze or even understand the question that you're asking. You're just supposed to shut up, praise God, give Him your soul. And I guess that's why I really couldn't shape the conversation, because you see, what I think is that I figured I'm gonna have to face God, and deal with whatever repercussions comes of the things that I took part in with my time here. So I figured I'd go as my most authentic self then, because He's all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful. So it makes no sense I apply a facade and try to sneak my way into the Most High's heart by pretending. Now, since I could not turn to the church or to people who are supposed to guide me along my journey, I decided I have no choice but to talk to God myself. Because see, I have some questions and I have some doubts and I need some understanding, and I cannot rely on these people who pledged to live by you and to always be there and lead us to you. I took matters into my own hands, because these people who consider themselves disciples, messengers of Christ, protectors of the Most High, I couldn't depend on them to have a real, honest and raw conversation. I mean, my soul is on the line. I didn't get it because I don't know if they're delusional, but this hushed tone that comes with discussing the Most High, discussing what's going on, discussing your soul, it's not really clicking for me. So I went to who's in charge of my soul, and I told him everything that was bothering me, and I let him know that I'm mad at him. I let him know that I don't know if I should believe in him. And I'm going to try to have this conversation in the most polite way possible, because I know some people are going to be out there saying you cannot use profanity and expletives when dealing with the Lord. I find that funny, because God didn't create bad words. Mankind did. Y'all did. Y'all created profanities. Y'all created expletives and said, God said. Excuse me. Now don't get me wrong. Maybe he says that in the Bible again. I haven't read the Bible front to back, and I know you're going to be like, well, you probably should have read it before you came and had this conversation. I tried. But again, in case you're not listening, when I reached out to the pastors, the Christians, the Bible thumpers, anyone who considers themselves believers of the Most High, that's supposed to guide us, teach us, educate us, provide wisdom and knowledge and understanding, those people, the ones that said that God can count on them, when I turned to them, they couldn't keep it real with me. And I got a very short fuse. And I don't like being disrespectful, not unless I really have to. And just based off the fact that I do believe that there's a God, I handled it in a very pleasant manner, or as pleasant as I could. I'll say that. So I did use expletives. I did use profanities. I did relinquish all my emotions onto the Most High. And it's not that I was disrespecting him, nah. But you see, I lost some faith in him. And I didn't know where else to turn, so I turned to him. I turned to him broken. I turned to him afraid. I turned to him alone. I turned to him with questions. So yeah, I was pretty angry. And when I'm angry, anything can exit my mouth. But while all those things are humanly bad in your eyes, see, the Most High already knew that I was feeling that way. So it made no sense that I bullshit him. I know that there are different types of Christians out there, so I'm not gonna generalize y'all and class y'all the same. I know that there are people out there who can talk, who can have a conversation on a human to human level about what it's like to journey with Christ, about what it's like to have doubts, about what it's like to be afraid, about what it's like to not believe. I know that y'all exist, but it's not a lot of y'all. You see, we gotta dig deep to find y'all. What we have are pretenders. The ones that tells you that God loves you, Jesus loves you as you are, come as you are. But when you go as yourself, they turn their nose up at you. And they look at you crazy and try to make you feel like, nah, God ain't gonna like you. God don't like how you coming. How are you gonna tell me what God likes when God been saw me as I am and say, let me have it, Jade. Let's go. Tell me everything that you stressed out about, everything that's on your mind. So if God knows that I got a slick ass mouth and it's sometimes filthy, and he says, come, why the fuck am I gonna talk to you pretending that you see me for who I am, knowing that you are being scornful and judgmental because of how I'm presenting myself? Are you dumb? But this is not a session to get heated about. This is just me talking about my personal experience, so forgive me. Sometimes I get a little bit too much. I've been working on that. I hope you can tell. See, I didn't understand why God existed, but when you looked around, kids were being hurt and removed from this life without their consent, innocently. Amazing people were just facing hardships that is just like, what the fuck? So many evil things were happening, and I'm just like, so God, you really just gonna sit by and chill while all this shit happens? Have you seen what's been happening? Yeah, I was very angry actually. And I had nowhere to turn, no one to talk to. So I talked to him. I felt guilty sometimes because people have been through, things that I've been through, and sometimes less things that I've been through, and they didn't make it, and somehow I did. And I'm like, what? So you're just picking and choosing who stays and who goes? I mean, what's the criteria? What's going on? And I know there's somebody probably looking right now and be like, oh, you're so ungrateful. Now you're so judgmental. I'm having these conversations with the one person that matters. It's up to him to judge me, not you. So yeah, I was pretty mad at him. And I told myself I'm not gonna pray no more. And I told myself that maybe this is just silly. Maybe there's no such thing as heaven and hell. There's so many distractions going on out there that you're just like, look at all these theories. How am I supposed to know what's true? Sometimes I waited to hear from him. And it was just silence. The silence was so loud, he wouldn't even hit me back. Gosh, that made me more mad. Because I'm like, how can you just forsake me like that? Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm just talking about me. Well, yeah, it was about me. Because see, growing up, I was never forced to really look to you. I wasn't forced to believe in you. But I was told that you were very important. And I was told that my soul is a replica of you. And I was like, I never asked for that. Most times I was like, I didn't even want to be here. And I thought about ways to no longer be here. Have you ever been slapped spiritually? Because I feel like every time I thought about a way to not be here, I feel like I got slapped spiritually. I don't know who the fuck was slapping me, but I felt it in my spirit that somebody slapped the fuck out of me for thinking that. And I'm like, wait, am I tripping? What? That's just in my head. I'm making that shit up. I told myself I wasn't gonna pray or be grateful. There's nothing to be thankful about. But would you believe me if I told you that I couldn't even have a bite? Unless I say my grace, it didn't feel right. I couldn't go to bed without saying a little prayer. It never felt right. It would weigh on my spirit. It would just weigh on me. And I'm like, God, what is this? What the hell is this? Because I don't understand, okay? I vented my frustrations. I allowed myself to be naked in spirit. It's kind of crazy because I have a hard time with vulnerability. But no matter how much I told myself I wasn't going to believe in him, because look at the way of the world, look at all these bullshit, look at all the suffering. You have amazing people and they face all the worst. They go through poverty and there's so much money and they still going through the worst. And all the people that are full of shit, they prosper. You know, they get things. Life is easy for them. I felt like I was between a rock and a hard place. I didn't want to believe in him because when I take a look around, kids are dying, people are starving, the rich is getting richer, the poor is facing hardships. And I can't understand how you are so powerful, how you're so amazing, how you perform miracles, but you won't show up for us. I didn't get that part. I wouldn't say that I denied him, but I blocked him out, pushed him far away, because I felt betrayed. I felt like we're just gonna come here, go through the worst, pass on, and nothing changes. But then I started hearing all this talks becoming louder regarding the soul. And I'm just like, once upon a time, anything that's satanic or demonic, it was barely noticeable, you know, like it was kind of like a whisper, but it wasn't a very loud whisper, it was kind of faint. And so as I struggled with my belief in the Lord and me being there in his presence, while I considered myself blocking him out of me and out of my system, the demonic shit started multiplying. You know, like when you look at it, it got louder. The actions became more pronounced to the point where they're having concerts and parades. And I was like, wait, this was never like that before. What the hell? And fast forward to now, it's not even a wait, did I hear that correctly? The conversation is just like, I need your soul, okay? This is the big league now, I need your soul. And I'm like, shit. I called God on the phone, right? Because I need him. Because as much as I was mad at him, as much as I blocked him out, as much as I wanted to pretend that he did not exist, I was still raised with him being a part of my household. As much as I was forced to go to church or to really say that, hey, this is my religion, make no mistakes, it was still highlighted that the Most High is very important. It's the most important part of your existence. So the teachings were still there, you know. So I picked up the phone and I called God and I'm like, you know what? We gotta discuss some shit. See, I feel like there are situations that you didn't show up for me. I feel like there are things that I didn't deserve. And then there are things that I feel like you could have done that better. And I know you're probably like, why would you talk to God like that? Because I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to lay it all on the line. That's what he asked for. Transparency. He asked you to tell him everything that is on your heart, everything that's on your mind, everything that's bothering you laid out. Because you see, the thing is, us humans, we can't really accept it. We can't really take the truth. We can't. So we sugarcoat it. And we say it in a bunch of twisted ways, but him, he says, nah. Tell me, express your raw emotions as they are, Jade. Let's go. Let me hear it. Give me your best shot. And I let him know everything that was on my mind. And then I finished a conversation with him that night regarding soul thing that's going on this earth. And I'm like, I know you and I, we have our differences because of how I'm feeling right now. We're not seeing eye to eye. But I think the soul conversation trumps everything that I'm feeling. So we gotta work on that. Because see, I don't know if I'm supposed to give my soul to you, but I definitely know for a fact that I am not supposed to give it to him. And growing up, I was always told that there's gonna be a moment where I have to decide on where my soul goes. So if it's not going to him, then I guess it's you. But the thing is, I don't know if I want to give it to you because I'm mad at you. And we got some things that we have to work on. And I don't know if at the end of it, I'll be walking in your life. I'm not trying to give you an ultimatum, but if you want my soul, you're gonna have to show me that this is not a game and that this is for real. And I know it sounds crazy going to God like that, but I understood that if I was going to choose to stand behind the Lord, to stand behind the Most High, then I'd have to make sure that I can withstand everything that comes with that. Because once you decide to be of the Lord, that's where everything comes at you full force. And so I need to know that I can handle that. I need to know that I'm not going to be in and out. And that's how I started rebuilding the relationship with me and the Most High. Don't get me wrong, some things started to work out. And then one of the worst things that I could think of happened. My grandma died. She raised me. She's like a mother to me. It's still kind of hard to talk about her in the past tense. And I'm like, God, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, remember when I told you that it's going to get hard? Remember when I told you that standing with me is going to hit you where it hurts? We're in the big league, Jade. So do I have your word or not? And I put him on hold because I needed to take a minute. And I know, who am I to put God on hold, right? But I did. I put him on hold. I told him, I'm like, I'm not gonna go do anything stupid, but I'm gonna need to deal with this in a way that I don't know if it's really gonna be godly. I don't want to play the role of a hypocrite. Please understand that if I'm going to pledge my allegiance to you, I want to do it with no hard feelings and no messed up thought process. And this is my grandma. She's the closest thing to love that I've ever had. I'm not feeling very godly right now. So we're going to need to reconvene. I need a second. I went blank. And I turned it off. And I closed the door on everyone. Everyone. Didn't care who stayed in my life, didn't care who left, didn't care if I lived, didn't care if I died. And I couldn't understand why, because I know a lot of people can say that they're a grandparent. I know a lot of people can say, oh, nah, my grandma was the best, or my grandparent was the best. That lady was the best part of me. I wanted to show up for her and give her the life she never had. I just needed a little bit more time. Didn't get that. And so I really wasn't feeling very positive with that God thing. So I watched it all crumble. I watched everything that I was starting to believe in just fall apart. And I couldn't cry. Because I'm like, crying makes it too real. And this is something that I can't have that's real right now. And this is a level of real that I can't afford right now. Then almost a year ago, caught myself. I just remember sitting there talking to myself. Full-blown conversation. I was just talking about good things, bad things, in between things. Because life is not just black and white. And in talking, I realized I was doing something that was always normal and natural for me. I was talking to the Most High. I was telling him jokes. I was telling him about my pain. I was telling him about my sorrow. I was telling him about everything. Naturally. It was just so automatic. And when I really caught myself, I'm like, wait, whoa. Who am I talking to right now? Why did I start talking to God so natural, so normal? I thought I'm supposed to be mad at him. I thought I put him on hold. But you see, the flesh wants me to cast him away over things I don't understand, but the heart, the soul knows him naturally, and just reverted to a place where comfort was always dominant for me, and not comfort in a stagnant way. The comfort, the ease, the purity of just talking to him casually, like a friend, understanding how powerful he actually is, but also in a way that was just so friendly and raw and trustworthy and low effort. It was calming, and I was, weirded out a little bit. But then I realized that he was always there. He always wanted to listen. And even when I was mad at him, even when I felt like I needed to tuck him away, when my soul yearned for him, he didn't punish me and push me aside and say, nah, Jane, screw you because you stepped away from me. Nah, he just welcomed me. He just took the time out to listen to me. He made me hear his voice. He was just so monumental in that moment. And so I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna just do this with you. I'm gonna learn to know you for myself. I'm gonna learn to understand and carry out my purpose, whatever it is. And sure, you can spiritually slap me the next time I slack, Yeah, we have our little inside jokes. And some days I don't feel like I'm loving him the way I should. But I don't hide from that feeling. I just tell him, I'm just like, today I'm out of it. Today I'm not really feeling like standing behind your word is going to get the kind of result that I want. And then I get fired up to do something because I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it the God way. And no matter what, I can't persecute it. I can't do it. I keep being humble. being calm, even in situations that requires me to freak the fuck out. So I'm back dealing with God, you know. Things have been working out. I've been feeling happy. I don't feel like I'm completely fucked up, you know. I don't feel like being tattered and torn is such a bad thing. I don't feel like I'm only worthy because I'm cookie cutter, you know. I don't know, I just feel peaceful. And we're working through things. Working through the reasons why I went rogue a few times. We're working through the moments when I come with agony and thunder and pain. And he doesn't meet me with the same energy that I enter his chambers with. He just hears me out, you know. And then he puts it on my heart what the next move should be. And I guess here I am trying to let you know that I don't know why we see the things that we see, okay? I can't give you an answer that's going to make sense. But I do understand that deception is prevalent. I do understand that there are things that we just won't understand, at least not right now. I understand that we're going to have questions, and I understand that some of the people who are in charge were supposed to be there for us and understand us and understand that we feel lost. I know that you don't really feel like you have a place that you can run to. And I know that those satanic and demonic things presents itself sometimes as a act of God and a will of God. So how will you know what to choose? I can't say that your journey with the Most High will be anything like mine, but I'll encourage you to give it a shot first. Go to him as you are. Yell, scream, fuss if you need to. I understand that we may not have somewhere else that we can turn before going directly to him. So if you feel that lost, then just go directly to him. Lay it all out there, okay? I'm not a mentor, I'm not a role model. I've always been quite unorthodox. But I can only authentically be myself, and that's what I'm doing so far, and I like it, okay? And I have questions every day. And I know he's probably tired of me calling him about everything. I swear, I be having full-fledged conversations with the Most High. And sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. Just somebody's like, are you on the phone? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I start laughing. I think this is our one shot at having a soul. And I think this is the purity test, you know. And I don't really think he's entitled to getting our soul. I think that he wants to earn it fairly. But I think you have to make that decision on your own. So before you close the chapter on him fully, just give it a shot, you know? But you gotta be patient. And I'm learning how to be patient. I'm not a very patient person. Anyone can tell you that. I have a pretty short fuse. So I'm kind of happy that I've been calm because I haven't been as erratic and crazy. And I know I may not look it, and I know that I may look it, you know, whatever. But I just think that whoever you're going to give your soul to, make sure you really resonate with it. But before you do something that you cannot undo, take a moment to be your most vulnerable self and see where it leads. And if you ever need someone to talk to while you're going on this journey, just know that you can talk to me. I mean, I don't know what advice I can give you other than what I've stated in this video, but I'll listen to you. Sometimes we can't really pinpoint what the issue is until we say it out loud or say it to someone else. So if you need me to be that person, then I'll be that. But I just want you to give yourself a fair shot first before you tap out and throw in the towel. Because, you know, we're figuring this out together, and my relationship with him is not perfect, but it has gotten better. And I found that I always want to be where he is, and I always want to be in his presence, and I want to be representing him however messed up way. And yeah, the profanities and the expletives, I guess I'll work on that later. But if I could be honest, it was way worse than this. My mouth was very filthy, actually. So I think it's working. Anyway, I hope overall I didn't make this video too long. I'm gonna go edit it and put it out there. And I don't know, I'm not trying to inspire you. I'm just trying to ask you that before you tap out of yourself, before you tap out of the entire reason why you're here. Just dial that number, okay? And maybe you'll be amazed to hear what's on the other end of that line. Alright, well, thank you so much for listening. Always remember that no amount of money has ever bought an ounce of time. You have a beautiful rest of your day or night, depending on when you see this message.